Nanganya, Kwabadak, Burga, Nature Yonga, Nature Wage, Nature Management, Nature Wardang, Nature Belia, Yip, Borna, Danger Calling, Nature Danger Calling, Warpening, Nature Nunga Buja.
Over 1,500 hectares of land is designated for conservation as vested in the city. These areas are home to a wide array of fauna, including 46 significant fauna species. The city is working hard to protect our native wildlife, especially small mammals, which are most at risk of disappearing from our landscape. The city creates strategies to guide how we look after our natural spaces. Our strategies are informed by local science like fauna surveys and help us to plan what we do on the ground in partnership with a strong community of environmental volunteers. Importantly, we learn how to adapt how we manage the land to ensure how fauna is conserved, and we track our success over time.
Since 2016, the city has been working in partnership with leading scientists to measure a baseline and monitor changes in our local fauna populations. We call this the Fauna Project. For some of the studied reserves like Armidale Settlers Common and Bungendore Park, we now have over 10 years of detailed fauna surveys. As well as these areas, we continue to add new reserves to the project. The Fauna Project selects key fauna indicator species. We repeatedly study these species as a measure of ecosystem health. We use techniques like mark release, recapture and remote camera monitoring to understand the abundance and diversity of the fauna present. We have specifically looked at freshwater fish, reptiles, mammals, birds and feral animals, as well as mapping changes in habitat tree availability over time.
The localised data we collect helps us better understand the health of our native fauna and use an adaptive management approach. Using repeated studies, the data allows us to consider the differences between what we measure and what we would expect for this ecosystem. This allows us to tailor our operational actions and response to best support conservation of fauna. This approach also allows us to focus management and operation efforts where they'll make the biggest difference. As an example, the monitoring and comparison of avian fauna in our reserves has directly informed our land restoration approach. In one reserve, we saw a lower than expected representation of pollinating birds. So in response, we've targeted our revegetation efforts to support the return of these species. As we re-monitor over time, we hope to see a more balanced assemblage of birds.
The fauna monitoring has also shown significant differences in small mammal populations between our two major reserves. Two reserves of similar size, vegetation condition and structure had noted differences in abundance and diversity of small mammals. Through repeated study, we have come to understand that the key factor in their difference appears to be wider connectivity, or how well these areas link to surrounding bushland and the size of the overall habitat available. In response, we have prioritised the support of private landowners adjacent to this area. Through the Habitat Links program, we have assisted neighbouring rural properties to control feral animals and to create wildlife corridors suitable to support a return of these species. Using motion cameras and mark release recapture techniques, we have been able to estimate populations of both native and feral animals and look at the changes over time.
This data has directly guided our feral animal control efforts, leading to measurable on-ground results. As an example, an increase in the feral animal control effort in Bungendore correlated with the return of the chuditch, who were also bearing pouch young. Before the change, the species hadn't been recorded in this area for many years. We can scale down our efforts in feral animal control where we don't see the results. By undertaking research at a local level and adopting an adaptive management approach, the city has not only increased ecosystems' health and protected environmental assets, but ensured that the resources are directed where they will have the greatest impact. In partnership with the community, the City of Armidale is committed to ongoing conservation and continuous improvement, managing our local fauna population.